Everyone, we've Leo Varadkar back on the scene. We thought he was gone from Irish public or political life because of his decision to stand down as Taoiseach and his recent decision then to not seek re-election for Dublin West. But Leo was off on a junket in the United States last week at the University of Notre Dame and arrived back in Ireland this week and was attending a meeting with Colm Eastwood, the recently deposed leader of the SDLP up north, about the prospects for a united Ireland. Now, isn't this fascinating? Because Leo Varadkar said it should be an objective, not an aspiration, and he wants to be part of this upcoming debate and conversation around moving towards a united Ireland. Now, it's interesting because Varadkar also said that he said we should extend the same economic policies from the south, which have been so prosperous for the vast majority of people in Ireland, not to up north. Now, we've seen the chaos that his governments and successive governments' policies have led to in terms of the housing disaster. Overnight, the latest homeless figures were released, where we saw a devastating increase yet again for the 8th month in a row of people in homeless accommodation. Well over 14,000 adults are well in homeless accommodation, not to mention 4,500 children. Also, we've seen record rents, record house prices, more people being forced into poverty and deprivation, 900,000 people on hospital waiting lists, and not to mention all the other impacts of the mental health disaster in Ireland and the impacts of people waiting for special needs assessment, scoliosis surgery, need I go on and on and on, immigration chaos and all the rest of it. And coincidentally, on immigration, he said it happened too fast. He said the increase in the population has happened too fast. He's really gaslighting the nation now, Leo, saying it happened too fast. Well, he was Taoiseach, wasn't he? And now he's trying to claim that, well, it happened too fast and we're doing something about it now. But it's just ludicrous. Anybody who believes this really needs to wake up to the nonsense that they're trying to push out with people. They know there's an election in the offing. And he said he stepped down because it was the best thing for the party following his crushing referendum defeats. Of course he didn't say that. He didn't say the crushing referendum defeats because, and being a poster boy for the WEF as well, much the same as Simon Harris. But to get back to the issues around the north, it's very, very fascinating to see them coming out with this narrative now. And he also said that he wants to follow in the footsteps of Gareth Fitzgerald with the New Ireland Forum, who was trying to work together over 40 years ago to bring peace and stability to the north, and looking at trying to see how that would be shaped in the future in terms of how the cabinet ministers would be proportioned for a certain amount of British citizens or passport holders would be part of this new cabinet. And also there would be a new Ireland Commission working together with the SDLP and others like-minded neoliberal parties. But the crux of it is the same economic policies. And what United Ireland is he going to try and build towards? A United Ireland for the rich, a United Ireland for the globalists, a United Ireland for the corporations. And caveat emptor, because this is what the discussion is going to be talked about over the next period of time. Up north, there's huge crises, for instance, in housing. The waiting lists, people are waiting up to 5 years for outpatient appointments. GPs are closing. There's shortages of nurses, doctors, and 1 in 2 people in the north of Ireland have no savings. So we've seen the austerity being imposed through successive governments in Westminster. And of course, the whole power sharing agreement has been a complete exercise to implement those policies of austerity for years and years and copper fasten them, the institutions of the occupying British administration in Westminster. So the discussion needs to start around United Ireland. And United Ireland for and by the people. That's democratic. That's where people have a say. And the needs of people are paramount in any shaping of a United Ireland and the discussion around this. Because all the narrative is going to come out. It's going to be just a United Ireland, part of the European Union, and will have next to no sovereignty. And not to mention the issues that are happening up north around, as I said, the NHS, the issues that are happening regarding the involvement of NATO being part of the British administration. So these are key questions have to be asked, what sort of country we have to shape ourselves. For me, it needs to come back to nationality, it needs to come back to sovereignty, are crucially important within this, and move away from the corrupt European Union, which is just centralising power and attacking human rights and through their neoliberal policies, also as well in terms of causing huge inequality, huge devastation, where you have more and more division, where the rich, the powerful, the billionaires are making more money while ordinary people are the ones that suffer and are struggling. And it's interesting because to quote James Connolly, who spoke about Ireland and the whole idea of nationality, and he said that Ireland as distinct from our people is nothing to me. And the man who is bubbling over with love and enthusiasm for Ireland and can yet pass and move through our streets and witness all the wrong and suffering brought upon by Irish men and Irish women without bringing an end to it is a fraud and a liar in his heart. His or her heart, I'll paraphrase it. But this is important because we've seen so much homelessness in Ireland's society. So many people are profiting from the misery of others. We've seen that through generations in Ireland, through oppressors from abroad. We've saw it through our history of horrific colonialism, the genocide that took place well over 150 years ago. And still, we've left that with the revolution that is still unfinished, because we can see the partition that still exists in our country. And it is very important to note how we build a country for the people. And when the narrative starts by these political parties, straight away it will be, and when Varadkar says the same economic policies, you know what they're playing for. They're playing for the more division. And to paraphrase what James Connolly said, it's the people, for instance, in Ireland, a lot of people in Ireland are profiting from the misery of others in Ireland as well. We know the international vultures are doing it, but there's a lot of people in Irish society profiting from the housing crisis, making huge money from others and forcing more people onto the streets. And then are bubbling over with pride with their whole sense of nationality, but not dealing with the underlying social and public issues, and investing property in public services, invested in state construction companies for housing, and state invested in and paying people property and having a dignified existence where people's needs are met in Ireland. And now more than ever, this is crucially important as these discussions try and take place. And crucially at the heart of this is sovereignty, which is so important to note in terms of having control over the policies of the country, in terms of where we go, rather than just be a lapdog for the European Union and the people that they work for, and take away any of this notion of sovereignty whatsoever. These are the important questions to start discussing openly. So use your platforms, whatever platform or voice you have, talk about these issues and how we can build an Ireland for the people and by the people, based across working class lines and ordinary people's lines, rather than the interests of a certain percentage of the population that would benefit from Varadkar's ambitions. So thanks for all the support, really appreciate it, and take care. See you soon. Salam. Bye bye.